Full disclosure, this video might be a little bit choppy, and we apologize for that. We are in a public park, and people were doing photo shoots, and the guy wasn't by on a motorcycle.
An electric bicycle.
It was it was not an electric bicycle, it was a motorcycle. It was a bicycle with a little pop motor on it.
Okay, so we are back from our time at Halloween Horror Nights 2025 in Orlando. We actually are back home now, and so we actually are at one of our local parks filming this to talk about our RP tour experience.
Yeah, it's spooky. Wine cellars.
Yeah, so we really just want to go through our experiences and talk about like what the RP tour kind of encompasses and what all you can get done throughout the RP tour, and you know why it's worth the money when you spend it.
The scheduling, the pace, as well as some of the just extra bits you get from spending that extra few dollars to get a very unique one-on-one experience with the event.
I guess to kick off the tour, what you do is we actually check in the same spot we checked in for the Behind the Screams tour. You check in the same building for the RIP tour experience.
So when you approach Universal Orlando, the main gate at the Universal Studios side, you'll kind of veer off to the right, and there's a VIP tour building. That's where they host the normal VIP tours of the park.
Yeah.
And this is where you'll check in for, like we said, the Lights On tour as well as the RIP tour. They'll check you in there.
Get your lanyards, you'll get what you'll wear throughout the night just so people understand like you're with a group and you're with an RP tour experience. That also gets you into houses. The lanyards also get you in to their express passes for rides, which you can use one time.
We've got a whole collection, whole wall of them.
Yeah.
They're really, really cool. And there are the only, like the lanyard you could only get through the RIP tour. And as if you know that I love collecting them, it's like I collect a lot of things, but it's just cool because you can only get it from that.
Once you check in, you go through like a little back door. It takes you through like past the gates of the park, so you walk like basically around the entrance of the park because you're scanned into that point and you're automatically into the park. With the RP tour, however, just as a preface, you have to have a Halloween Horror Nights single night pass or like the frequent fear passes. You have to have a separate ticket for Halloween Horror Nights plus the RIP tour ticket, so they're two separate tickets that you have to have. And then those two allow you to get into the park and access all night.
After you get your VIP pass, as well as like your lanyards, we checked in at 5:30. Our actual RIP tour did start till 7 o'clock. So you do have that time in between whenever your check-in is to your RIP check-in to kind of do whatever you like until your check-in time over at...
Horror makeup show.
Yeah. So you check in over there. You'll meet your tour guide. We have one we used every single year, and that is Mr. Joe Mully, or...
British Joe.
We love...
We'll call him, yeah.
We love Joe. We've had him, 3 years now? 3 or 4 years?
3 years. This would be our third, actually, I think our fourth year of potentially having him.
Yeah.
I don't remember how many times. This is our third or fourth year of our RP tour experience. We've always had him. He's been the best. He's great. He's knowledgeable. He's funny. He's cool. Like, I mean,
we consider Joe a friend at this point. Joe is so cool. We request him every single year, and he, wildly enough, remembered our names the first year, a year later.
Yeah, it was very, I don't know, his memory is fantastic. I don't understand it, but I wish I had it. But no, he's great. So basically, when you meet with your tour guide, he'll give you a brief rundown of how the RIP tour experience works, because there are usually people in a group who have never had the RIP tour experience, so it's new to them. Joe typically walk you through, what all RIP tour guides really, their job is to kind of give you a brief storyline as to what's going on in the house, so it kind of sets you up for the energy of the house. With that being said, once you check in at 7:30 is when we officially checked in, because that's when the tour started, where we checked in and then ate and then came back and met up with Joe at 7:30. We officially started. I think my watch was like 7:31 when we were walking over to our first house. So really, RIP tour, it's different every single year. No tour is the same path. It just kind of depends on what's convenient, where it's located at. For us, we did the front half of the park first, and we did the back half of the park. And depending on your tour guide, they're either going to start you at the back or the front half of the park first and work your way around. So it really depends on kind of your tour guide and what route they want to take you on. But I feel like for us, sometimes we'll start at the back, sometimes we'll start at the front, depending on the year. But this year we started at the front of the park and worked our way back to the park.
And to clarify, with the RIP tour, you will hit all the houses, all the scare zones,
yes,
as well as the stage show Nightmare Fuel. in that full schedule. Now there is a show, it's like a water show.
The Ghoulish show, they just brought it back this year.
It's neat, but they do not make that a part of the tour because it's kind of seen by half the park. So if you're walking by, you're seeing the show. If you want to see that, usually if you take an earlier tour, you have the time to go to the last show. Our first house was El Artista.
Yes.
Basically, some of our houses were kind of, before it even got dark, we went through 3 houses relatively quickly. But after El Artista, which I have to say that house was like beautiful with the lights on,
Yes.
but it was
really pretty.
better with the show aspect.
The person who designed the house is the same person who designed Dead Man's Wharf.
Yeah.
I believe he also designed the Blood Moon.
But he designed the same one. And this artist loves to go like very vertical with his haunted houses. And usually you can stand in the spot and see through his house, which is, if you're a Halloween or haunted house fanatic, that's very unique that you can see and it gives you this immersiveness that the house just keeps going.
Yes.
Going. And all I got to say is when you go in the house, look up. Why?
Yeah, there's a lot to be seen, like, in every direction of the house, especially, like, upward. So, like, usually you go through the houses fairly quickly, so if you're not paying attention, you'll definitely miss something.
El Artista, that's definitely one of those houses that I would recommend taking lights on tour because it gives you a lot of those little details that you would not notice by just walking through it.
So, therefore, the second house we did was Five Nights at Freddy's because it is basically like right next to El Artista. So we did the block. There's like a block of houses in the front, block of houses in the back of the park.
I love the Freddy's house. I mean, honestly, I have to say it's one of those just immaculate. How do I explain it? I've been through a lot of Halloween Horror Nights houses, and I have to say that Freddy's is just one of those that I've never experienced one like that. It's just, I felt like I was walking through a movie set, or just, I don't know, it just felt like something they should leave up permanently. Like the amount of work they put into it, just felt like it could have been left up permanently. All of the animatronics, real and puppeteered, are from the Jim Henson's Creature
Shop.
Yeah. So, and they collaborated with the gentleman out in the shop out in California for that.
Yeah.
All the different types, and it just, you can see it. It presents itself and it just lives through it.
Yeah, so it was almost like I felt like I was like actually in Freddy's Peace Cafe. Like I felt like I was actually there. Freddy Fazbear's. It was like, I mean, it's right off the movie set, right off the game. Like, it was fantastically, beautifully designed. After that, our next house was Grave of Flesh.
It was cool. I have to say, it wasn't my favorite. The entrance is really neat. The entrance is really cool. You're like at the bottom of a deep hole.
It was a fun house. I thought it was really cool, but it definitely wasn't my favorite. But I'm still happy we did it. I'm happy we saw it. It was still not a bad house.
Yeah. So after Grave of Flesh, we moved on to everybody's basically trophy house, was Terrifier. And I have to say, it did smell like poop. It's a lot of poop.
There's still the smells in the house in general. I would say the house was very immersive in both sight, sound, and smell. So it was definitely not a disappointment. It was everything.
It was fun.
It was a fun house.
It's gory, but it was like a fun gory.
Yeah, I would say besides, like, I mean, the gore factor is a given at Terrifier. Like, even if you haven't seen the movies, you understand the premise. You understand it's a gory experience. So, like, yeah, the gore is a given. The smells are a given. What did you say? The water effects were...
No, the blood effects.
The Symphony of Blood, which some people are most nervous about, I would say, from what I understand, like, some nights it's, like, on full board, some nights it's not really much. I feel like we got, like, a mid-tier. I mean, I got wet, but it wasn't, like, I'm not drenched or anything. Like,
If you go through Symphony of Blood and get wet, you will see a real actor. Versus if you go across to the dry, you'll see more projections, but apparently there's more scares. Okay, so, after your Terrifier, you're going to do a lounge break. You want to explain it?
So, yeah. Oh, well. Okay, so for the last half of the experience, RIP, we actually switched locations. That was non-intentional. There was actually, as we were filming, there was actually a photo shoot that was happening. So we just kind of want to be mindful of their time as well as ours, because this park does close at dark. And so we're kind of approaching that dusky era. So we definitely wanted to just be respectful of them. So we, actually moved to this, I mean, it's like a cabin.
It's an older cabin park. This area we're at is a very heavily photographed area. Obviously, as we talk on this camera.
Lots of photo shoots towards the evening, so we actually ended up just moving. Anyway, that's so irrelevant right now. But we actually wanted to, talk a little bit more about the RP like break with the RP lounge.
So to go back to the break, so once you complete your 4th house, was what we were at. Now your schedule might be slightly different. It usually ends up where you're lined up at. Our break was up on the balcony that sits above Jimmy Fallon. So if you've never been to, the park or looked up, it's on top of the building of Jimmy Fallon's gift shop.
Yeah.
They'll take you to that balcony, and it's just an incredible. I mean, it's genuinely one of my favorite things of every year of Halloween Horror Nights.
If you've ever seen #Panda, like that's kind of where it's at. That's actually exactly where it's at. #Panda during any daytime hours at Universal Studios. If he's hanging out there chilling, that's like where the location's at.
Yeah, it's upstairs, and when you go up there, they do have elevators as well as stair access, but when you go up there, it's kind of like a private bar. Now, you do have to pay for the alcohol. That's one thing with the RIP tour that is not included, but they do give you like any kind of sodas, any kind of water. They do give you bottles of water. It's a great break. There's also bathrooms right below there, so it's like all very accessible, very easy to get to. It's a great spot to get photos and just see the park from a different angle that you just cannot see.
You wouldn't see unless you do the RIP tour experience. It's about a 30-minute break. You'll hang out around the area, and then you'll regroup with the tour guide afterwards. He'll come and collect you too. If you're unsure where he's at, he'll find you. Don't worry, they're very good at that.
Yeah, they round you up quick.
Yeah, and then you move on to the last half of the houses, which for us we did 4 at the first half, and then we actually did the rest of the 6, which I thought was interesting. We did instead of 5 and 5, we did
Yeah, that was different for this year. Usually they split it right down the center. But after you take your wonderfully cool VIP exclusive break, you head on over to the 5th house, which is Hatchet and Chains. Your tour guide will give you the big rundown of what you're to expect in these houses. We stopped right outside the VIP gate, and he gave us the rundown. Hatchet and Chains, I personally think it's such a fun house. Yeah. I love anything Western. The scare actors, the projections, they're very interactive with you. And again, a lot of set changes where you go from one set into the next set.
Mm-hmm.
And it just continues.
The next house we did was Gulkin.
So this is one of the houses we took the lights on tour with. When we went into this house with the lights on, we're like, okay, this will be okay. Yeah. Once we get in, as you go through the house starts out okay. And as you get back towards the back of it, it gets cool. Like Wicker Man style stuff. It's just neat.
If you like Nordic mythology, you will like the house. I personally really liked it. I mean, that's whether I don't know much about Nordic mythology, but I do love the kind of like, it was almost like this, not fairy tale-esque, it was like almost like a cautionary tale in a weird way.
And after that, we moved on to house number 7, which is just one of our beloved favorites of all time.
Fallout.
Really love
Fallout, and it's right next to Gulkin, so the walk was very, very short.
You literally come from one end to the other.
Yeah, it's very short, right next to each other. So we went in straight into Fallout, and that house, of course, was everything that, I had anticipated. We did the lights on tour before the house, so we kind of knew what to expect.
If you're a fan of the video games, you're a fan of the show, it hits both those itches so well. But when you go in there with the lights on and stuff, it's a shorter house. I will give it as a shorter house.
Mm-hmm.
But it is just, set-wise, it's just so much fun. And getting to see the goal and the T60s.
Yeah, that was super cool. It was fun to see something come to life that I'm playing the game for years, so have you. So to see things that have come to life that you've only seen on like a computer screen, it's super cool. And it's kind of undescribable. It's amazing. The only thing is I wish it was a little bit longer, because I would have loved to see more like Fallout lore incorporated. I would love to see more, and it was based on the TV show. So I would love to see maybe more of the settings incorporated, like where they went.
But I will say this, what's cool about it is with your tour guides, they really talk to you about what you expect from the event, right? They expect what do you like, what's your favorite shows, is there things that are tied to what you like. So Joe, being Joe, he pushed us, he's like, hey, this is your all's house.
Yeah, that was super cool. I actually forgot that he did that. But every now and then Joe will he'll kind of throw somebody up at the front of the line. Just to let them have that front of the line experience.
That moment from their tour.
For Fallout, that was us. Actually, he kind of pulled us up there, and we got to experience the front of the line, what that was like. Which is a lot of fun. Again, the Fallout was probably one of my favorites, but I think not just because I'm really loving the video games, I love the series. and it did not disappoint.
After Fallout, we went on to Dolls, and our tour was a little out of order. He kind of had to change some stuff just because of crowds issues, but no big deal. We still got to skip the entire line like every other house and went straight into Dolls. Dolls was fun. It was, how can I explain this? Not to switch from Universal to Disney, but it was like, instead of going to Andy's room, you went to Sid's house.
Yeah.
And went to his sister's room, which is he have a sister? I don't know if he did or not, but
I think so. No, I think
he's an only kid. And what's really cool about it, and this gives us a chance to kind of give you some insight to somebody who's never been to a Halloween Horror Nights event, or maybe you've taken a tour and you understand this, or you've been one of those poor unfortunate souls to reach for something that you probably shouldn't have been touching in a Halloween Horror Nights house. In Halloween Horror Nights houses, there is these little moments that occasionally the creators will insert into these houses to make them more immersive and interacting, and play at or potentially even punish those who probably shouldn't have been touching the walls when they're covered in blood. And these are our interactive moments, which are usually marked by like red buttons, sensors.
with the RIP experience, the great thing about that is that our tour guide actually gave us a heads up of the interactive buttons in the houses. He didn't tell us where, but what he would do is he would go first, and he knew where all the buttons were, so he would interact with them, then kind of like tell people to pass it on down, so that we each got a moment to possibly like press this button that, honestly, if I was a part of the tour and I was just walking around by myself, I would probably miss most of those buttons because I'd be so just caught up in like everything else going on in the house. And you move by super quick, so like I wouldn't even stop to pay attention to those buttons. So
I know there's some in Terrifier as well, like those the bleach.
I honestly think I still miss those.
Yeah, I hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what's cool about the buttons is it can punish you for touching it, or you can punish somebody behind you for it. So like, for example, in Terrifier, if I press that button, it would be a delay. So if I press the button, 2 or 3 people back behind me, you get sprayed with bleach.
You get to interact, and sometimes it's even like interacting, like even for scare actors, like you press a button, like a scare actor can come out, right? It can interact like a animatronic or something. Like it's super cool. But yeah, so again, with the RIP tour, one of the perks of that is you have a tour guide telling you where these buttons are at.
And if you only have that one chance to go through it, you want to interact with every aspect of that house. And these buttons give it almost some depth that you would not expect from a typical haunted house. Our next one, which would be the Wyatt 6. So I have to say, this is one of those houses we took with lights on.
Mm-hmm.
With the lights on, I was like, this is cool. I'm not a big fan of WWE, but it was with knowing the story behind the house and all that came with it as a tribute. It gives a different depth. And honestly, with the house active, I was shocked at how cool the house really was.
Because they did the lights on tour, we had the RIP tour experience. We're not WWE, like, we can engage in the WWE world of things, so we know nothing about WWE. So it was really cool to hear from multiple sources, just like a backstory of the WWE house. So we had a greater appreciation walking into the house during Halloween Horror Nights because we knew backstory, we knew lore, we understood the characters more. Like, honestly, like, I think I grew a greater appreciation because I was able to get like a deeper insight into the house.
Universal really goes in on that story. They immerse you in a movie or a TV show or a book or a folklore.
A game.
Or a game. They bring all those aspects that makes these things we like in pop culture, and you get to walk through, experience it, maybe a state. Move on to the final house, and I must say, I have been through many years of Halloween Horror Nights, and I have been through many IP houses, including those of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or Freddy vs. Jason, or Terrifier, or whatever it be. I was like, oh, another Jason house. This is going to be whatever. No. This house is fun. It's awesome. It's a face. And the gauntlet at the end it could have been its own haunted house. The second half.
Yeah.
It was just awesome.
Yeah.
So, moving on from Jason's, you have 2 parts left to your evening, and then they turn you loose.
So really after Jason's, we basically ended right outside of Lombardi's Seafood and Grill. So Lombardi's is typically in prior years where we always kind of end it's like our last break. We take our last break at Lombardi's.
They usually have a little bar there. Same thing as kind of like, it's a VIP bar only. So it's the same ordeal as like Jimmy Fallon's. It's a great time to kind of like just chit chat with your tour guide.
Yeah.
That's what we usually do. and prepare and rest up for, which would be Emma's favorite
I think it's
part of the night.
favorite. Well,
It's awesome, but that you love this show.
So my favorite show, of Halloween Horror Nights, probably my favorite part of Halloween Horror Nights is Nightmare Fuel. And I've loved it since they came to 2021. They came, I think that was their first year, 2021. This is like their fourth show they've done. This year is probably the greatest year I've ever seen.
Well, and then what's so cool about it with the RIP tour
Yeah.
is that they take you from Lombardi. So Joe will collect you up and move you to what used to be the Fear Factor Stadium, is where they host the Nightmare Fuel. And then he'll wait there with you with a VIP line, of course, and where they'll move you straight into some of the best seating. And that's dead center, right in front of the stage.
I want to say we were 3 or 4 rows back from where the main area would be at, where the performers can get up to. We're a little bit away from the stage, but basically there's like a little podium.
There's a remote platform that comes out from the stage and juts into the crowd.
They can get as close as there. So we're about 3 or 4 seats away from that little podium area, but you're basically front and center, so you're able to see everything. So that's the fun thing about the RIP tour experience. Nightmare Fuel, but also something that's fun to add in there is that with Nightmare Fuel and the growing population of it, you are not guaranteed to see the performance, especially if you come on a standard night experience with if it's just standard night, if you're hopping in line for it, you may or may not get into the show if you haven't basically been standing in line an hour or so prior.
Yeah, some nights, on busier nights, the line can line up past the Fear Factor stage all the way out to right in front of the Harry Potter side, right in front of the entrance to Diagon Alley. If you're stuck in a line at a house and you're this close to getting to the house, you don't want to get out of line.
So the fun thing with RIP tours, you are guaranteed a spot, and a really good spot for the show too. So if you only have that one night to experience everything Halloween Horror Nights has to offer, that's one of the greatest benefits, I think, of the evening.
Go from there, they'll release you after the show, and then you kind of have the remainder of your evening with your passes to use the express passes or go back and get in line for houses and really get the most out of your night. We were done.
We were done with everything, I would say, before midnight.
Yeah, it was before midnight, and we stayed in the park till 1 o'clock when we felt like we got our fill of it.
We actually then stayed a little bit in the park. We got some food. We rode some rides. So we did, I think, 2 out of 3 rides we wanted to hit.
Yeah.
And then that's just because that one ride was down for the evening. So
we have a little tradition of doing MIB every single year because it's in the spirit of Halloween.
Yeah, so if you have time, the wonderful thing about the RIP Tour lanyards is they do act as express passes for the evening to get you on rides. So we utilized those and we got on 2 rides. And then we had time to do some shopping still and just enjoy the ambiance of Halloween Horror Nights. And then I think we called it at 1 a.m.
Yeah, we went back to some of the scare zones, the Roaring Twenties. We went through the Cat Lane. The Cat
Lady of Crooked Lane.
That I can never remember it, but you just have that extra time to kind of go into the park and really get the full bite of your night. You can always go back to the VIP lounges. They allow you back in there to get water and kind of chill out, use the private bathrooms, things like that. Our overall wrap up of RIP Tour, and really to hit home of is it worth it for you or is it not worth it for you? Okay, so if you have one night to really get everything in, you are going to get all houses. You will be walked straight to the front of the line. You're not waiting in any line. 2 private bars, a buffet, and a show.
Mm-hmm.
All in one evening. Usually with still time to go ride rides using Express Pass to get all those rides.
They said you get to experience everything, and they really mean that. This is different than just an express pass. This is different than a frequent beer pass. If you have time to get a frequent beer pass and go multiple nights in a row, you may not find RIP Tour to be worth it. But for us, we only get 1, maybe 2 nights if you're lucky, but 1 night really to come and experience everything Halloween Horror Nights has to offer, and we want to do that. So for us, RIP Tour is the only way we do it now because we're guaranteed everything.
The event is growing, and it continues to grow. They continue to innovate with the IPs growing bigger and bigger and bigger, and the event's becoming more and more populated. That it's becoming harder to get a solid night out of just a 1-night ticket. So if you only have that 1 night and you really love Halloween, I highly recommend it. We may be laying on it heavy with RIP Tour, and if you can afford it, by all means, it's worth every penny. But if you don't, there is other ways to experience the event. try to do it a couple nights. If you can't afford the RIP tour, or it's just not working out, or they're booked out, try to get a few nights in so you can really get your experience at its fullest.
Is it worth it? 1000%.
Oh,
So-
and we will be going back next year,
Yeah.
100% with our boy Joe. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell. We'll continue to pump out things like this, as well as potentially, next year maybe we'll have more than one event. We'll see. So stay.
We're kind of hoping to do more like Halloween content.
Yeah.
This month, and then probably next year as well. We're gonna hit some more just Halloween themed experiences.
Stay tuned. Check out what we've got coming next. We're going to be diving into some pretty fun little activities on the weekends here soon. So stay tuned.
And my hat, it's called Horror Nights Girly, and I love it. That's all.